Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at The Black Mirror. It's written by John Glasby. It is in the same collection that we did his previous story in, called The New Lovecraft Circle, which I'll link to you in the comments below. The Black Mirror was about 26 pages long. It took me about 3 or 4 minutes less for me to read it last night for the second time for you folks. And now I'm going to go a review for you folks. Now this, as a reminder, is in the Cthulhu Mythos. It has one reference actually to the Cthulhu Mythos, that of Cthulhu, which I prefer in my later Cthulhu Mythos stuff, because it feels like some of them just have so many references, and we'll spend so much time, especially in the second and third generation of the Cthulhu Mythos, where that was less so in the first generation, when people were writing contemporaneously with H.P. Lovecraft or with himself. So certainly Cthulhu, who is a fire, a big bad created by August Derleth in the second generation, is a key character in this. And he's mentioned a couple times, and he's a key person that's, is an influence that's being helped. It still is. It feels much like a first generation in that way, and I appreciate it. If you recall the previous short story in here, Keeper of the Dark Point, that was written by this guy in the previous short story, also had no references to the Cthulhu Mythos at all, although all of its background stuff was identical. Like when it spent 2 or 3 pages telling its short story, and I approved of that. I also thought that it was nice that it only spent 2 or 3 pages doing that, so I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. This one is probably a little bit less as good as the previous one, so I'm going to be giving this a 7 out of 10 for you folks. But I definitely liked it. It's in the Cthulhu Mythos. As a reminder, I dedicate my Octobers to the Cthulhu Mythos, so we're doing that right now. And then I have the which I discovered when I was in college. At the beginning of my junior year, I picked up a collection of stuff that was written by H.P. Lovecraft. Loved it. He became my favorite author very quickly. Read another couple of collections of his stuff. And then I started picking up Cthulhu Mythos stuff. This book was published in 1996. I'll link it in the comments below. And I picked it up right then, and I read it, devoured it back then in college, but I haven't really gone back and reread it. Except for now, for this channel, for you folks. So there you are. As a reminder, this channel's name is The Worst Thing About New Books. It's a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones. In this book, it was published, more than 2 decades ago. And this short stories, or many of these short stories, were published, years before the 1996. It's definitely an older work, and so it's definitely a key part of the passion of this channel for you folks. So let's go ahead and get started with my 7 out of 10 hour review. As a reminder, my reviews are spoiler free, so what I'll typically like to do is get you sort of 2 or 3 pages into the short story to get you caught up with what's happening and the key characters and what's happening with the story, but then not give any spoiler based reviews. Sort of what you might read on the back of a novel, to what your whistle as to what's happening for the first few chapters and that sort of thing. So let's get started. So what our main character has been a person who was at college for a while, and then he was an antiquarian. He believed in a lot of these ancient myths and greater gods and so forth, had some reality to them in the pre-Christian eras of humanity. And he's been doing a lot of research, and he's going to a lot of various places. He went just to Transylvania, to a burial crypt out there, to grab some books, and he's been collecting a lot of different books from a lot of different places, and he's been translating this too. And then he arrives in this place in England. It's a tiny little place. It has some dark history. He arrives at a farm that's been uninhabited for quite some time. The locals have nothing to do about it, and they won't come, and even to get paid to fix it up and get it ready for like a modern day person and so forth. So he has to bring in people from Exeter, a nearby city, in order to get that taken care of for folks, and then so that's basically it. So about 2 pages in, and one person from Exeter, one of those workmen, talks to a local doctor and says he saw one of the books. It was very, very bad. Some of the things they talked about and so forth. So now the doctor's going to come, a local doctor for the city town, and so forth. And then he's going to swing by the place and introduce himself and start talking and so forth. So that's our key core to concept, and that doctor's thus our introduction into the character. But we'll be following the character after that. So there you are. That's sort of what's happening with the short story. I'll get you caught up with the first 3 or 4 pages, and then I'll leave you to it. The rest of it, I'll leave it to you all yours. So there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. That is my review of The Black Mirror, Cthulhu Mythos short story, and I enjoyed it again, giving it a 7 out of 10. Have you read it? If so, what you think about it. Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? Because there's going to be a lot more to follow. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.